time to deliver. It's time to start showing some results. But here's the sad reality after 3 years of Justin Trudeau. Never has a politician boasted so loudly and spent so much to achieve so little. Justin Trudeau promised that he would only borrow $10 billion a year. This year's deficit is $18 billion. Justin Trudeau is failing to balance the budget by 2019 as he promised, ensuring that future generations of Canadians will have more and more debt to pay back. And finally, Justin Trudeau promised he would spend money on infrastructure that would grow the economy over the long term. But the reality is that infrastructure investments are actually being cut. Things like roads and bridges, ports and highways. These are the facts to remember when we hear the Liberals trying to take credit for our recent economic performance, or when they talk about helping families. This increase comes from the end of tax credits for kids' sports and arts programs, from slashed TFSA limits, from the end of income splitting for families, from a carbon tax, and higher payroll taxes. This is in sharp relief to the promises the Liberals made to Canadians. Promises to provide relief, promises to help the middle class, promises that he has not only failed to keep, but failed to properly manage his budget for. This is why we can't trust Justin Trudeau when he talks about helping families or reducing taxes. What he gives with one hand, he takes more with the other. We know that Justin Trudeau is raising taxes on local businesses that have been under constant attack from this Prime Minister since last summer. The Liberals are asking, always asking, more and more from Canadians. Regular families have to give up their benefits and pay more in taxes so that Justin Trudeau can have more to spend on Liberal pet projects, or even on himself. Shockingly, the Prime Minister found $2 billion to foreign affairs, but told Canadian veterans that they are asking for too much.
What would you cut to try and get the books back to balance in 2019?
As we go forward into the next election, we will put forward a campaign plan that is based on fiscal responsibility. I'm pointing out today that Justin Trudeau has failed to keep his promises. He promised that this year's deficit would only be $6 billion. It is 300% higher than that. This is clearly an irresponsible government. In addition, there's no contingency for what happens if NAFTA hits the rocks. So not only have they failed to manage their budget in terms of their deficit promises, but there are actually things in here that they should be having contingency for that they're not.
What do you think of the budget to compensate for the tax cuts in the U.S.? Are you concerned about that?
I'm very concerned at the competitiveness of our economy. At the same time that NAFTA is under threat, we have the Prime Minister speaking to millionaires at a ski resort in Europe, bragging about the fact that he's not going to do anything to keep our economy competitive. We've seen billions of dollars of investment leave the country, not just in the natural resource sector, but in many different sectors. Those are real jobs that go offshore when we don't keep our country competitive.
The budget also promises gender pay equity measures as well as possibly a national pharmacare plan. What are your thoughts on those two initiatives?
Well, I do not trust this government to take Kathleen Wynne's team to put forward any kind of plan, never mind one in the healthcare field. Anytime you have Kathleen Wynne's team designing things, Canadians should brace themselves.